Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby. I'm with Fitness is Medicine, and today we're going to do a workout in your home in a circuit format as we've been doing prior to this. We are going to use two different strengths of band or tubing, a kettlebell if you have one, or just a dumbbell or something that you can hang on to, a watering can full of water, one weight that you can use in one hand, loop band if you have one. And then if you have balance discs or a balance pad or a BOSU and you feel confident using those, go ahead and grab one. We're going to try something with one of those today too. So remember to come into these workouts warmed up and ready to move. We're going to do 5 to 10 minutes of a cardio workout, get your heart rate up, muscles warmed up, and your mind ready to move. So we are going to start today with a banded horizontal pull. So this is a good way to work your lats, especially in a home setting when you may not have lat pull machines and things like that. So I want the tube about chest height or waist height actually in the door or wherever you anchor your bands or tubes. And then we're going to tip over at the hips. So a little bit, just an athletic stance. So my knees and my hips are bent and engaged. My tummy is engaged. And I'm going to tip forward at the hips, but I want a good flat back, nothing rounded like this. So really, if you need to check yourself in the mirror to see how that looks and then come back, that's a good way to do it. Now, I also want your head in neutral here. So kind of tuck your chin. I don't want you looking down or looking up. So I want your head in neutral. Shoulders down away from your ears. We're going to pull away from the wall. So we're doing a lat pull down, just in a different stance. So more muscles are engaging here. 5, 6, really engage that tummy, engage those glutes. 8, squeezing those shoulder blades down and together as you pull, and rest. Okay, good. I'm gonna refresh my screen here. Okay, next we're going to do a suitcase squat. So envision that you are lifting your suitcase, you're picking it up, but everything here is staying level and straight. So you want your shoulders to stay level, you want your hips to stay level, so we don't want to bend over like this. We're going to go down into a squat. I've got my kettlebell ready right there. Like I said, you can use anything that has a handle. You can use a dumbbell, you can use a kettlebell, you can use a watering can full of water, a bucket with rocks in it, whatever you want. But I want you to be able to bend down and do a squat. Now, I'm keeping everything level. I'm going to pick that weight up nice and slowly. You're sitting your hips back, knees bent, knees over your ankles. Try not to lean over to set it down. You're keeping everything stable. Now, by doing that suitcase squat while keeping everything level and with that big heavy weight in one hand, you're also having to use your core a lot to keep all that stability. Now, I'm just going to do 5 on one side for the demonstration because it can feel like a lot to begin with if you've never done this. Really focus on staying level. Tighten that tummy. Breathe. Sitting back in your hips like you're going to sit down into a chair. 2 more. Breathe. Keeping that weight in your heels here when you sit back. And rest. Okay, now when you set it down with good form. All right, next we're going to go back over to the tube or band that you have set up. But I'm going to switch it out to a lighter band. I had a pretty heavy band on there to begin with for the lats. The lats are a big muscle. You need a good heavy weight on those. But next we're going to do shoulder flexion. So generally your shoulders are not quite as strong as your lats, as your back. So we're going to use a lighter band, a lighter tube. And you probably know your bands pretty well, what smaller muscle groups will require. We're going to turn around and face away from the wall. I need to move over. My new camera situation is a little bit different. So I want to stagger your feet. Start with the tube right at your hips here. And we're going to lift forward. Now, You may find you want the weight or the tube down lower or right at hip height. So when you lift forward, you're only coming up to about shoulder height, no higher than that. 6, again, tummy tight, shoulders down away from your ears, don't let them hunch up. 7, nice and slowly, control that band, don't let the band control you. 9, you should be feeling this by now, these are a little bit smaller muscles, working on those shoulder flexion, your deltoids. All right, next we are going to do some marching. So I want to do, this is where you can grab your, if you have any balance tools, if you have a balance pad, if you don't have anything like that, you can also grab a pillow or a rolled up towel, something to throw your balance off a little if you need that extra challenge. If you don't, we'll start with the floor. And I'm going to demonstrate just on the floor. I want you to put your hands up and I want you to march, touching your opposite knee. Now this may be plenty for you, especially if you're doing it slowly. You're having to stand on one foot and balance, lifting that knee up. Now, if this feels pretty easy to you, you can grab your balance pad. You can do it on balance discs. I brought my Bosu out. I'm going to disappear. My head's going to disappear at the top of the screen when I stand on this. But you can challenge yourself by adding, a more unstable surface if you need that extra challenge. Always challenging yourself to a safe extent. You want to challenge that balance. You want to challenge your strength within safe limits. So if we're doing something that feels really easy, you want to up it just a little bit. Grab a heavier band. Grab a little bit more of a balance challenge here if you need it. Okay, so do about 10 on each side. Again, you could start on the floor. If that first set feels pretty easy, try adding a little bit more. You could also do it out in the grass, in the yard. That's more challenging because the grass has that unstable surface. All right, next we're going to put that loop band that I talked about around your ankles. Probably a good idea to sit down to do that. And we're going to do monster walk, but I'm going to have you do it in place. So we're going to start with your feet about hip width apart, toes straight forward. You don't want them to turn out to the side. I want you to step forward and then backwards. So it doesn't take much space. You're just going forward and backward within a little bit of space. Now you can kind of go forward 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. But I just want you moving just forward and back within that space. I'm going to move forward and refresh my screen so it doesn't go to sleep on me. Nice and slowly. Again, I'm in this good athletic stance. I've got my knees bent, my hips bent. I'm not in a squat. A squat would be down here. Just a good athletic stance, tummy tight. So I'm going forward and backwards. And you can do, 3 or 4. If you've got more space, you can obviously go further backwards and forwards, but this is a good challenge too. It's a little bit different than walking all the way forward and then all the way backwards because you're really firing those glutes just constantly. Okay, so do that maybe 10 times forward, 10 times back until you get a good fatigue in those glutes. All right, we're going to end on the floor. We're going to do some windshield knees. So, on your back, and I want you to put your legs up just like this, like they're on a tabletop. Like if you were going to put them up on your coffee table or on a chair, not down here. I'm going to lift those up. That requires more control here. Now, flattening your back to the floor, and we're going to go side to side here. So think you're moving your legs back and forth like windshield wipers, right? Now, I'm not lifting my hips up off the floor when I turn, just ever so gently. So I don't want you turning all the way each time. This is controlled within here. So my hip just came off the floor, I come back. Just came off the floor, come back. Just a little bit. Should really be feeling this in your tummy. If you're feeling it in your back, stop, readjust, flatten that back to the floor. And you can keep your arms out to the side or you can keep them right next to you. Remember, get those legs up like a tabletop. We're gonna go 10 times back and forth. I think that's, I don't know, 6. Probably more, that's okay. Breathing, relax your neck. One more each side. And that's it. Good. Okay, very good. Go through those 1 or 2 more times. Add some cardio in between. Do that circuit through. Really get your heart rate up. Get that repetition. The second time through is often easier because your muscles are warmed up and they know what to do. Third time, you may really be challenged with it, but that's when you're really building muscle. So let me know if you have any questions or if you need any substitutions or suggestions, and we'll see you next time. Have a great workout, everybody. Thank you.